Now we turn to the story we've been covering for days, the battle for control that continues raging in Libya. Last night here, we reported the U.S. was considering a range of options, including military enforcement of a no-fly zone. Today, Defense Secretary Robert Gates appeared to be saying not so fast. The quote was, "All options are on the table." But he made it clear U.S. military intervention in Libya is unlikely. There are 2 U.S. Navy ships approaching the coast of Libya. Secretary Gates says they're there to help with a possible humanitarian mission. NBC's Jim Maseda is inside Libya again tonight in Tripoli. Jim, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Well, Muammar Gaddafi may be losing his grip on power, but not his defiance, while his people are bracing for the worst.
Preparing for war. A short drive outside Tripoli and one sees the gauntlet close up, facing any invading rebel force. Hundreds of tanks and anti-aircraft artillery pieces have turned the city of 2 million into a fortress. It's fast becoming Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's last stronghold. Less than 30 miles away, in the rebel-held town of Zawiya, protesters celebrated their latest victory. Last night, they faced down a major counterattack by Gaddafi troops and tanks and won. But Gaddafi's son, Saif, the regime's de facto spokesman, took the setback in stride.
If you have 1 or 2 or 3,000 demonstrators, it doesn't mean that everything has gone and it's over.
As the standoff continues, both sides are fighting to win a war of words and images. In Benghazi, international news cameras were brought to see rebel fighters training civilian volunteers and keeping their heavy weapons ready for battle.
All people here are one heart, and they believe in one Libya.
And a government press tour visits wounded pro-Gaddafi fighters in a Tripoli hospital and takes in a pro-government demonstration. Meanwhile, the fighting has triggered a humanitarian crisis. More than 100,000, mostly migrant workers, have fled Libya, many into Tunisia, overwhelming aid workers there. Some simply pass out from hunger and thirst. Disease is spreading. The unlucky ones never even leave this makeshift camp outside Tripoli airport, full of thousands of the weak and frightened, losing hope. These are just some of the thousands of people who say they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. The Libyan government can't get them out, and they say their own governments haven't sent in evacuation flights either.
We are only pleading the world to help us so that we'll go back to our country.
Abandoned and facing the prospect of war.
Tonight, rumors are flying around the capital, Brian, that rebel forces will attack here Friday after prayers, but for many here, it's made uncertain times even more terrifying. Brian, back to you.
NBC's Jim Maseda in Tripoli tonight. Jim, thanks. Oil prices launched higher again today as concerns about Libya and surrounding oil producers heated up. Crude posted up $2.66, putting it very close to the $100 mark per barrel. Stocks finished the day sharply lower. The Dow was down more than 168 points.